Hi everyone, it's Derek here with More Sauce Productions, and today I am talking about the COBB Accessport. In my previous video, I talked about launch control, and today we're going to talk about flat foot shifting. And what that essentially is instead of actually lifting up off the throttle, you essentially keep your foot on the throttle as you change gears and push in the clutch and let go of the clutch and push it into gear. So essentially this is really good, a really good feature that COBB has implemented, and it's really good especially if you want to shift very quickly, and it's particularly good for a turboed car. And that's mainly because a lot of times you don't want to get off a boost, and essentially what happens when you let off the throttle, it gets you off boost. So this is something that's really good for either track driving or for driving on the strip. So driving in a straight line, 0 to 60, quarter miles, that sort of thing. It's really good for that, and it sort of makes the person a better driver than they actually are, especially when you talk about clutch. And you know, it gets people, human beings, more on the level of mechanics, similar things to, you know, a dual clutch transmission. And yeah, I think it's something really cool that COBB has implemented. So this is flat foot shifting, and we're going to take you through that real quick. So taking a look at the screen here, we actually have just the engine RPMs right here, and then we have the vehicle speed right here. So if we go back to the actual settings and the main menu here, and you scroll down to the tune, click the middle button to get there, and then we want to scroll up to adjustments, adjust ECU settings. So in the ECU settings, you can actually select here, change flat foot shifting RPM limit. So essentially what we're talking about here is, and I've changed this to 2500, which is really low, but I sort of want this available to me, not always in the high RPMs, so that I can test this out. So essentially what I'm doing here is selecting 2500 RPMs. So moving back to the gauges here. So basically whenever I get to 2500 RPMs or higher, then essentially when I push the pedal down to the floor and push in the clutch and shift, the revs won't go straight up to red line, and I can essentially shift into the gear without losing any boost. So that's really the main appeal here, and I'm gonna just demonstrate this really quick for you guys. We're in first gear here, we're at around 3200 RPM, so I'm gonna go flat foot. So this only works when your foot is flat to the ground, so I'm gonna go right here. Clutch in, shift, and it's a really, really fast shift. So I really like this feature, and I'm glad that COBB implemented this, because this is definitely something that'll help you shift if you're trying to, you know, beat somebody in a race, or if you're on the track and you're trying to shift really quickly. So again, I'm gonna do that. So, and I'm gonna explain everything that I'm doing as I do it. So we're in second gear right here. So any acceleration will get me over 2500 RPM. So I'm gonna go flat here. Clutch in, gear shift. Clutch in, gear shift. So as you can hear, and like I said, this is not really good for your clutch, so I wouldn't be doing this all the time. So just keep that in mind. And as I'm shifting, or as I put the clutch in, you can hear that the revs aren't going straight to hell. So, and to explain this further, I'll get on the actual street and actually change this RPM setting to something higher, like 5000, which is more like what you would have it at, but just to do this for a demonstration here. So I'm going to change this adjustment and show you what it's actually like when I hit the clutch in, and it revs to hell. So we're going to switch this to 5000 RPMs, save that, and we'll go back to the screen here. Alright. Flat. So you hear that? The revs are really just going to red line, so it doesn't wait for me, it doesn't cut the fuel out. So that's really something that's nice to have, that, you know, it doesn't come stock. So with this Accessport, it gives you more than just the tune. It gives you more than just the readings that you see here with the RPMs. It's nice that COBB is offering you and continuously updating this to give you not just the readings that you see here with all the details of, you know, the coolant temp, the oil temp, and so on and so forth, but it's also giving you a performance boost. In addition to the off-the-shelf tuning, they come up with this, which also gives you an extra performance boost, which I think is really nice to have. Thanks everybody for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Once again, this is not a sponsored advertisement from COBB. This is something that I think is pretty important in actually making a decision on a COBB Accessport, and I think it's pretty cool. And if you liked this video, like I said, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.